There's a few reasons. I've chosen five. I'll go through them really, really quickly. We've got quite a dispersed population in Ireland. There's a lot of one-off housing in the country, and that does mean that the costs for the upkeep and management of the grid are a lot higher here than they are in other countries. So to put things into perspective, the length of the grid in Ireland on a per capita basis, you think of all of the wires and the pylons, is around 3 or 4 times the size of the length and size of the grid in the UK. So all that one-off housing does have an impact, unfortunately, on electricity prices. We've seen a big increase in the population, obviously, over the past decade. Data centres as well consume a huge amount of electricity here. They're putting upward pressure on the demand for electricity. And when you have a mismatch between demand and supply, as we see with housing, that puts upward pressure on prices. We've a weakly connected grid, so we can't really import and export a lot of electricity with other countries more cheaply and easily. That might change in 2028. We have a connector that we're building with France at the moment, which will allow us to tap into generally much cheaper French electricity. So that is good. The next reason is that we still use gas to generate a lot of electricity, and that's obviously gone up in price a huge amount over the past few years. And other countries which have cheaper electricity tend to use maybe more hydro or nuclear, for example. And then the final reason, maybe a bit more kind of difficult to talk about and to kind of explain, but we've been bringing a huge amount of wind and renewables onto the system over the past few years, which is obviously great. But first of all, the price for paying wind farms is actually quite high. It's a little bit cheaper than what gas is, but it's not that cheap. It's around 90 to 100 euro per megawatt hour. That's not particularly cheap. Also, the grid, I think, over the past 2 or 3 years has really been struggling to cope with all the renewable energy and all of the wind. And sometimes we need to pay the wind farms to shut off. That puts pressure on other aspects of the grid. It increases other system costs within the grid. And, putting more and more renewables onto a grid that can't yet just take the renewables, I don't think is necessarily the right idea. And maybe just over the next year or so, I think, the government, the CRU, and a few engineers maybe just need to get together and just to discuss whether this is the right approach that we're on at the moment, because something clearly isn't working. Prices are just going up and up, and now we have, as you said, the most expensive electricity in the EU, and to be honest, we probably have actually the most expensive electricity in the world.